Hey, what's up, everybody? Today we're going to talk about DeMarcus Lawrence and his future with the Dallas Cowboys. It's serious cat mode time. So we're talking about DeMarcus Lawrence, okay? The Cowboys basically have two options here. Franchise tag at $17 million. That'll be the price tag for DeMarcus Lawrence if they decide to go that. Right now, the Cowboys are $18 million under the cap, all right? So in theory, they could sign DeMarcus Lawrence with a franchise tag, but you know that pretty much zaps the rest of the cap. You know, if you want to re-sign Anthony Hitchens, that won't happen. If you want to re-sign any of your other free agents to be, you know, it's gonna be tough sledding. All right, so that includes David Irving, and a lot of other players, man, a lot of other players, but the main ones, you know. DeMarcus Lawrence, Anthony Hitchens, David Irving, and then you have a couple of other lower tier kind of guys like, you know, Keith Smith, fullback, exclusive franchise tag for Rico Gathers. They're going to bring him back, so he'll be cheap. But still, you always want to give yourself room to sign players during the season. Plus, you got to account for your rookie class. So expect to see some contract moves here in the coming weeks leading up to free agency. We always see this with the Cowboys making room, whether that's contracts getting redone. Usually we see it from the guys, the offensive linemen, Tyron Smith, Travis Frederick. So expect to see some of these other, you know, kick the can down the road type of reworks for the contracts to start getting some players in here. The other thing that we can probably expect here coming up, some players getting cut. All right, this first day to franchise tag a player is going to be February 20th, so close to 3 weeks away. All right, now that doesn't necessarily mean that boom, February 20th we have to say we're franchise tagging this guy. All right, they do have until March 6th. That's the deadline to get you know, to designate the franchise tag. Now for the player to sign the franchise tag, you know, they can wait a while to sign that. Usually the players will sign that here, you know, during the off season and get things going. All right, but let's talk about DeMarcus Lawrence and what his worth is. All right, what might his contract look like if he gets a long-term deal? Okay, take a look at the slide right here. These are the top 10 earnings for defensive ends in the 4-3. All right, I got this from overthecap.com. So you'll see Vernon, JPP, Calais Campbell, Everson Griffin, Cameron Jordan, Michael Bennett, Vinny Curry, Cameron Wake, Jerry Hughes, and of course, our favorite player here, the overpaid guy, Tyrone Crawford. This is the top 10. So pretty good names here, you know. Players that wreak havoc on the quarterback on a regular basis for the most part. Most of them, right? But looking at some of these names here at the top, I mean, these guys wreak havoc pretty consistently. Vernon, JPP, Calais Campbell, Everson Griffin, you know, and Jordan. Bennett, Curry, Wake, you know, they have their moments. But will the Cowboys do this? You know, he had one really breakout season, healthy for the most part, but he still deals with some back issues. You know, he still has some issues. He's not 100% healthy. You know, he had the foot his rookie year, other issues the other seasons, the suspension, and that sort of thing. So, what do you think? All right, what do you think the price tag for DeMarcus Lawrence will be? Cowboys typically will give a big, you know, guarantee up front, and then a pretty sizable upfront money, and then lower cap hits the first couple years. You look at the Cowboys contracts, a lot of their players, they're like that, you know, $1 million here, a base salary here, but it balloons up towards the end of their contract. So it is a possibility that the Cowboys could sign him long term. Now, that doesn't mean by any means that it's the end of the world for the cap. It just means that you know, they'll have to revisit this sometime down the road, and that happens with all the Cowboys contracts here. We're talking about that right now with Dez Bryant. Well, he's expected to be $16 million or something like that, 12 against the cap, something like that. So, and that's because we're coming up towards the end of his contract, and it's ballooned up, you know, to a big number. So, and that's when you start to see price tag versus production, and then that's when you start to consider, all right, it's time to cut ties and that kind of thing. So, can they sign DeMarcus Lawrence long term? Yes. Should they sign him long term? Maybe. For me, I want to see it again. All right, I'm fine with going with the franchise tag, but the bad thing about that would be is it's $17 million. You know, so you're gonna have to get creative with your cap. You're gonna have to probably release some players that have a big, you know, cap hit, or rework those contracts. So lots to be done here, but it is coming up. You know, like I said, we're about 3 weeks out. You know, for that to begin, you know, that, and like I said, that doesn't mean that the deal has to be made then. Okay, so it's just something to keep in mind. Let me know what you guys think. What do you think the Cowboys are going to do with the DeMarcus Lawrence franchise tag, or long term? What would you guys do, or what do you think the Cowboys will do? Let me know in the comments, and as usual, please like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you for the next video. Thanks, guys.